guys, welcome to the first ever video on my Sorare channel. My name's Chris and you are now on the Chris390 Sorare channel. I love some of the content that YouTube streamers do already. I kind of wanted to add my own input to the game. So a bit about me, I've been playing the game for 3 years now, and I've really enjoyed the game. I've been playing, first year I sort of did common, so for those that are new beginner players, did the common scene. And then I moved on to last year properly playing, so I started with limited and I went into a bit of rare last year, just done my foot in rare. I wouldn't say I've got the biggest budget. I work a normal 9 to 5 job, so I feel like I'm kind of relatable to a lot of you. But yeah, so going forward, I am going to take you through my lineups. I want to help people build better lineups, and I kind of want to build some strategies going through the season. So I'll sort of show you through my stuff, then we'll show you what I've won in rewards on my first game week. We'll then do some squad gallery reviews, because I think I put a tweet out the other day, and actually I've got to be honest with you, there was some really good feedback from it, and I really appreciate the guys actually come back to me. So I've got some guys that I'm actually going to do some squad reviews for, so have a look at them. And it might give you some ideas on what to do with your squad, because it definitely does spark some ideas for me, I think, working from other people's squads. And at the end of the day, I'm here to try and get you to the top level. So if I can get you guys to a podium, then that's a win for me, because it means I'm giving out good advice. So this is kind of like a community channel. I kind of really want to bring everyone involved to it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do along the way as well. But a bit about me, my background. So I used to be a football analyst. So I used to work for a Premier League football club. And I feel like that has a lot of transferable skills, which are so rare, because I understand the game very well. I think I've got good football knowledge. I'm a season ticket holder at Southampton, so I go and watch Southampton every week. Some of you might say that's tragic, but you know what? I absolutely love it. I love them, and I'm hoping for a really good season under Will still, so I'm really excited for that. But back to Sorare. So yeah, so Sorare 26, I've built my first couple of teams. I'm ready to go, and I kind of just want to take you through this journey with me on this season, see how we get on. And I'm excited to see where we get to. So without further ado, we've got a couple of things we're going to do as well. We've got a daily wheel spin we're going to do, which I know finishes next Tuesday, which is a shame, so I've really enjoyed them. I'll show you how we're with hot streaks. You can see my Eredivisie one, I'm already doing quite well. And I'll take you through my lineups from last week. So we'll just start briefly now with my last week lineups. So we head over to my lineups. Forget this current game weeks, it's gone absolutely shocking, but I can take you through them if anyone's really interested. My rewards. So last week I won $20 cash. Could have been a lot more, explain in a minute. 2,700 essence, great, that's a couple of crafts. And 1k XP. Now, unfortunately, I actually did record these rewards for my first ever video, and the video file corrupted. So, unfortunately, I can't show you that. But what I will do is I'll go through step by step what happened, and I'll show you what I did craft out of those crafting sessions with the essence. So, my first team I'm going to show you, I've got a Man City stat. Now, this finished 150th, and this got me my $20. Now, you're probably starting to work out why I was a bit frustrated that I only won $20. Man City were brilliant. Tajani Reinders is an absolute baller. He is going to be a serious player. What I like about him is he really links up the attack and the defence well, and he really transitions well through the midfield. And I really saw him linking up nicely with Haaland and Oscar Bob and the other attackers really nicely, and actually just bringing the whole team into play around the box. And he's got a goal in him. You could see that on Saturday. Very good. I know they play Wolves away, and Wolves aren't going to be the best team this year, unfortunately. But you definitely saw an attacking intent from City on the weekend that was really exciting. So definitely, if you're looking for so rare players, especially attacking players, City, I know they're pricey, but City players are going to be worth it this year. Aït-Nouri, solid. I really like Aït-Nouri, and I was a bit hesitant at first buying him, but I saw he had a good pre-season Man City, and do you know what really pushed me towards him? It was actually the fact that I saw those consistent scores, and I think for Wolves he was good going forward, but we didn't really see much of the defensive side, mainly because he was always under so much pressure. But on the weekend he was excellent. He made some massive tackles, which is why he's got a high score. He was advanced in areas, he got forward, he's going to whip him more across, he's going to be more attacking. He was really good on Saturday. I'm really excited to see. Ryan Shirky was a bit disappointing, not starting, but he still turned out to be an amazing signing. I mean, he still scored a goal in his 15 minutes, so I'm excited to see what's to come from him. Do I think he's going to start on the bench this weekend? Maybe. So I'm a little bit nervous about starting him, especially when I want to make those hot streaks. And they've got Tottenham at home. But I do think he's got a massive part to play. 21 years old. He is going to be a big player for Man City. this is where my frustration comes in. So I picked Jordan Pickford because I knew they were away at Leeds, and I thought he's going to make a lot of saves there because Leeds just bounce back. They're going to come up, but I do think they can keep a clean sheet. Well, they didn't play very well, Everton, but they were still 0-0 up until like the 80th minute, I think it was. And at that point, Leeds got a penalty. Now, I don't know if any of you've seen it, but if you watch it back, it is never a penalty. Like, I cannot believe VAR didn't overturn it. Tarkowski's hand is literally next to his body, so I don't know where he's meant to put his arm in that situation. But that's football, that's live. We don't get the decision we want, and it's frustrating because that could have been another 50, 60 points, especially if he saved the penalty when he nearly did save it. And if we got a clean sheet, maybe even a penalty, we could be looking at 40, maybe 50, 60 points. And if I take you to the leaderboard, 50, 60 points would have got us, top 8, top 6 maybe. We could have won $120 or $200, so we could have had 10 times what we won here, which is frustrating, and we could put that more towards our squad, but it is what it is, and we'll move on. We're still doing alright. My second Premier League team is a Liverpool team, so for me I think it's between Man City and Liverpool. Now, last year I did go for a lower stack and I got frustrated because I wasn't really winning much, so I've learned with Sorare that for me, if you're going to have a small budget or a smaller budget, pick 1 or 2 teams that you know are going to be successful and are playing in European competitions, because you get that midweek game week use out of them as well. So I went for Liverpool, Man City. So I think they're going to be good this year, and I think these two will be fighting for Premier League titles. So I'm expecting solid scores each week, and hopefully that will lead to at least Essence, XP, and then the possibility of cash on top, which would be fantastic. Mo Salah, 76 points, solid score every week. I really like Ekitike. I think he's going to be a solid number 9. I'm really shocked that they're actually still going for Isak just because they've got Ekitike and he did so well. But I suppose Isak's got that Premier League experience. So that'll be an interesting one. We may have to switch that up if Isak comes in for them. Jeremy Frimpong looked quite good. Unfortunately, he's got a hamstring injury now, so we are going to replace him. And I'll show you who I'm going to replace him with in the video. Alisson Becker, Liverpool goalkeeper, was solid. He'll play all season. And we've got Florian Wirtz, who I know he had a bad game at the weekend, but I definitely think there's more to come from Florian Wirtz. So I'm excited to see what this Liverpool stack can do. And again, it didn't have a very good week, and it still got me 255 essence and 500 XP. So we're not complaining too much. My other in-season team, which was a lot more cheaper than my Premier League stacks, but it's still pricey. But again, I think it's more about risk and reward. So the more you put in, I think the more you're going to get out. And I think that's, if you ever see any Sorare streamers, that's a lot of what people do. You've got some like Harry who are amazing at finding steals. Harry Trades is amazing at finding steals, and I wish I had that much time and I was that clever to find those steals, because he finds super rare steals and rare steals that are just unreal, and he makes so much money from it. So, but fair play. But I'm going to go down a different route. I'm going to go like the teams that I think are going to win me stuff, like, and I'm going to get my money back from them and make money on top of that, hopefully. So I've gone for Joey Veerman, who is a solid scorer, but he's an old season. So I also have Sabari, so I can rotate them out depending on what happens there. I've got Ivan Perisic. Frustrating last week, he didn't score any points. He's usually a really high point scorer. And then these three is just solid each week. Now, Sam Stein isn't playing this week, so we do need to go and find replacements. That's maybe something we go and look at later in the video. So maybe you can help. But yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what you think about these teams, and let me know in the comments if you think I should improve any of these stacks. What cards you think I should bring in? I'd love to know your thoughts on it. And yeah, so other than that, I've got my MLS stat, which again is pretty solid. I'd probably replace Berhalter. I thought he was going to be more solid this year, but his scores have been alright. Just been a bit inconsistent. I do have Christian Roldan for the Seattle Sounders. Now, I'm really disappointed I didn't put him in, because he's only 60% on Sorare inside, and I thought I didn't want to take the risk being in Div 1. So I put Ober Vergas, and of course Christian Roldan played and scored 60-70 points. So another 40 points there, and like usual, another 40 points would have got us $5 and a lot more essence. So frustrating, but it is what it is. We live and learn. Now, my biggest disappointment is my contender team, so that's my other in-season team. Now, I had a bit of a mare because Hanover weren't playing this game week 1. They played the week before, and they reached the first tier, but they didn't quite get to the Div 1, so a bit frustrating. Anyway, I took a gamble this week with my contender team, and unfortunately Gustav Vickem, who's been scoring actually quite well recently, got a red card in the first 20 minutes. So that kind of set the tone for that division, and yeah, with that back Div 3. But it's fine, we'll start again, and we'll see what we can get to in contender. So yeah, that's kind of my lineups. I've got some all-star ones. Interestingly, what I would like your opinion on is I've got a Bayern Munich stack. So I've got a classic Bayern Munich stack now, which has Harry Kane, Michael Olise, Joshua Kimmich, Jonathan Tah, and Mamonoid. Did I say Mamonoid? But it's basically the 5 big Bayern Munich players. So I don't know whether to include them in All-Star or do some Essence building with them, because I just feel like for Essence though, my frustration with Essence is if I get in an arena and don't get a golden one, the max they could win is 1,250. So yeah, that is a craft, but it's not that much. Whereas in All-Star, they could win me a card and Essence, so like you could win a star card. I could even get 1,000 Essence just getting in the top 1,000, which I think they will do. So I'm a little bit on the fence about what to do with them. So we'll discuss that later when my team building, and that'll be the next part of the video. So next thing we're going to do is my free wheel spin of the day. Now I haven't had much luck from these. The best I've got is I think 100 Essence. I've not picked any gold, so we'll see what we get. Probably be a miss. I've had hundreds of misses, so I'm expecting that again. Oh, we'll take 100. Okay, 100 XP. It's not great, but it'll do, and it actually might lead to us being able to do. I don't know how much XP I've got actually. I've got 120, so no, I can't even do anything with that. But that's okay, because we'll look at this game week, see if I've got anything out of this. So I didn't have a very good game week, so I've got an ex-Celtic stack as well to chuck in on top of my Bayern Munich. So I could have a really strong all-star team, which is really frustrating. Now, unfortunately, I've finished just outside the points because Alistair Johnson went off a hamstring injury first half, and Celtic didn't score a goal, which was really frustrating. Good for defence, but really frustrating. And unfortunately, my Yoshida had a DMP, which really killed me in here. Because, let's be honest, I'm 23 points away, and he would have got, with that result, probably 30 points minimum. So it would have got me that 100 Essence minimum in there. So that's a bit frustrating. But Luis Suarez had a good week. Know who had a good week for Seattle Sounders. So yeah, so we're done all right in the All-Star Rare. Okay, so we're not too bad off. Okay, so look, moving on to the second segment video. I did promise a few people on Twitter, so I put a tweet out saying, look, I'm starting YouTube and I really like to do some team reviews. So I'm going to have a look at some teams. So Tiggy Tigers, Gavin's team, basically, was the first guy to comment. I feel like I'm going to follow him. So Gavin's team, he's got 86 pro cards. He's a good player. He's got 817 cards. So he's a big time Sorare player. So this is kind of like one of your more experienced players. So it'd be good to see how you've done, Gavin. You joined similar year to me, but I think I went down a different route from you. I went more. I traded my last year my limiteds into rares, and I didn't have a big enough budget really to go and I regret it. I wish I just focused on limited because I could have won more money. There was one game where I think I got rid of an Arsenal gold limited stack, and then they scored like 510 points and I won like 500 quid. And that's the frustration with So Rare. Like I just made the poor judgment error. So I'm going to stick with my teams this year. I'm not going to change, and I'm just going to adapt my limiteds as and when we go. Yeah. So looking at what we look at his stats here. So he's having a frustrating game week like me. Probably just chucked some players in, but nothing amazing going on. He's had a few DMPs which just killed him. Yeah, not his greatest week, but it's okay. We move forward. Back to game week 1, which is probably a bigger game week for him. Okay, good Jupiter team. He's got relegated on it though. That's a bit sad, like from Div 1. Now, it is tough because you aren't running the best squad, and I mean apart from Solis, who's unbelievable, and he was brilliant against Rangers midweek. I like these guys. They started off well. I'm not too sure about this Dogusan Haspala. I've seen a few people have him now. I'm just going to have a look at his card because he's not you're not the first act to see his hand. So I suppose he is not a bad point scorer. Yeah, he's pretty solid across the board. If you look at back in his game weeks, you can see some high AA scores. You've got some good 70s, 60s. There is a few low scores in there, but I can understand why people actually have him then. It does make a little bit of sense now. MLS team. Yeah, it's alright. I had Christian Arango last year, and he was really frustrating for me because I thought he was going to be really good, and he actually was just a bit hit and miss. So I opted against him this year. I went for Anders Dreyer, and he, for me, has been really solid and a really good point scorer. Yeah, solid. Again, it's just lacking that real clinical defender and that real clinical striker to really make top. But that's one of those teams you could just hit one week and you could score very high. Now, I've had a look at this before, and I was intrigued to see your squad, Gavin. I was intrigued to see that you've gone quite heavy on Challenger this year. Now, I like Challenger. Don't get me wrong. I think there's some good leagues in there. However, I do have one issue with Challenger. Now you've got an unbelievable sporting stack here. Even though I probably would buy Luis Suarez, the striker, just to replace Higgs. I think he's going to score a lot of goals, so that might be something you want to look at. Don't know if you noticed him. He's a striker from Almeria. They've just signed him, so have a look at that, Gav. It might be worth it. It'll be quite pricey, but he'll definitely then bounce this up to. That would have come to like 460, 470, I think. So yeah, have a look at that. It might be worth you investing in that. But the only problem with Challenger is because there's so many leagues in it, you've got to fight all the top teams from all the leagues. So for example, I'll take his second team here. So he's got Benfica players, great. Second best, you've got the two best teams in Portugal, great. But you've got teams that like Besiktas. Now, if you look at that score, right, Kochu here has got 80 points, right? And he's played in a 2-1 win against, I couldn't tell you pronounce who that is, but Besiktas have played 1-2-1. And Tammy Abraham's got 61, right? If you look at this score here, this team's won 6-0, right? And he's got 2 scores in that 6-0 that are below 50, which is mental. That should never happen. But that's really killed you, because if you get those, say you get another 60 points, you're looking at money there easily. Even if you get 80, 90 points, you're looking at the top. So I find it really tough because the Turkish league seems to be really good in this Challenger League, whereas this Portuguese stack is really good. But will it ever match maybe a Turkish stack? I don't know. It's just really hard because you're fighting a lot of people in that. I mean, there's 1,500 in Div 1, which is mental. So yeah, that's my opinion on Challenger. And that's why I've gone for the individual leagues this year, because I think you're fighting against the same league. So that's why I think it's my point. And I do like what you've done with your Eredivisie team. I think this NEC route's so good. Like, I've gone down the PSV route because I think they're going to be consistent point scorers. But if this hits 1 week, if they win like 4-0 at home 1 week, and all these players have a decisive action with Joey Veerman, you're looking at probably winning in, if not top 10, top 15. Which means you're going to get one big payout, and if you hit top 10, you're going to get at least $70 to $100. So you're looking at a big payout there. So that won't hit often, but it will hit every now and then, big potentially. I like your Jupiler Pro stack. I've got him, Balik Wishar, in my all-star team. So I think he was quite solid. I was really gutted because I thought he was going to move to Celtic last year. And that's why I bought him, because I thought if I buy his in-season version and he moves to Celtic, and then he got a really long-term injury and it killed that move. So I don't know if that's going to happen still, but that could be a big one. Vincent Janssen, it was solid point scorer for Antwerp last year. They'll be good Antwerp this year, I reckon, going forward. And then you've got the 3 players here, which Westerlo are going to struggle, in my opinion. Genk will be fine, but yeah, Westerlo I'd kind of look to replace because I think they're going to struggle personally. That's just my opinion. And yeah, you've got your MLS, your bunch of leftovers. Love that. I've got that as well. That's what my classic team is, really. And yeah, like I said, you've just got a lot of mismatched players. Like, done well here, but I don't think he's going to play much. Nor he comes on, but would I want him in my starting 11? It's not. Again, it's a cheap team. I like it. But is it going to score you many points? / is it going to get you much cash? Don't know if you're going to get much in your return investment. That's just a thing. That's just my opinion on it. Premier League, nice. I like your Premier League stuff. You've got Pedro Neto, Ruben Diaz, Nunes. Yeah, this is a solid stack here. Nunes, I would probably replace because you know he's going to be a bench warmer this year just because of the signings they've made. So you definitely want to have someone a bit more solid in there. Vicario will be very good. I like Thomas Frank. I think he's going to do some good stuff at Tottenham. You've got Murillo and you've got Pedro Neto. So Pedro Neto started pre-season really well. Didn't quite hit it off against Palace, but I think Palace started all right. So I'm not going to hold that against them. I think they'll be good tonight against West Ham. I think actually Chelsea are going to be really good tonight. And then you've got Murillo, done well. You've got Haaland, Wirtz. Yeah, great pair, and I think they'll score really highly for you. Morgan Gibbs White's an interesting one. He's got that double game week with the European. They got Europa League in the end, didn't they? So yeah, Europa League and Premier League. The only thing with them is, will they suffer from that Thursday Sunday night game playing? That's the only thing with these two. But yeah, solid options, and they will score you points for a season. And Cucurella, yeah, solid shout left back. I don't think Chelsea are looking at a left back. They have got Jarell Harto, which I think they just signed from Ajax, I believe. But I think he's going to be back up to Cucurella, because Cucurella is one of the best left backs in the world. I know he's been slated a lot, but he's been part of a winning Euro team for Spain. Like, there's just a lot about Cucurella that is really good, and I think he's going to come good this year under Maresca, and he's going to be really solid again. I stayed away from Ligue 1 because I was worried about the rotation. Because PSG are just so far ahead of everyone else in Ligue 1. They can rotate their squad, have a second 11, and they're still better than everyone. So that's why I stayed away. But if you can get that Ligue 1 PSG stat to hit, yeah, there's points there. It's a nice squad. Like Højbjerg, he'll always score well. She's a workhorse in midfield. That's a great score from Angus. Again, that's not going to be a regular, but that's a great start from him. And he made a lot of saves, clearly. 91's a very good score. And I'd probably replace Hannon, but I don't know if you've got anyone in your squad. Looking at the La Liga team, yeah, nice. I don't really know much about Valencia, so I can't really comment. Arda Güler's really good. I think he's going to be so key for Real Madrid this year. He's going to be their breakthrough star, I believe. And he's going to really settle into that midfield nicely alongside Valverde and Tchouaméni. And I think it's interesting because obviously, where do you fit Jude Bellingham in? I wonder if they're going to go those three, Jude Bellingham in the 10, and then play Mbappe and Vinny off each other at the top. That's potentially what I think they might do. But it'd be interesting to see what they have got, because they've got loads of players around Madrid, so you just don't do. But I do like Arda Güler, and I think he's going to be good this year. So a nice little 72 there. It's a good little stack. Don't know how strong Valencia are this year, so they've been poor in the last couple of years. So I just hope for your sake that they're better this year and they do improve. Yeah, nice. And then you got obviously more. Yeah, see more of the jet. Like, they've drawn 0-0. He's got 62. That's a really good score for a 0-0 in a midfielder. So yeah, there's a lot to be done there. And then you've got your all-star teams. Oh, that's a nice team. You need to get Dino Zagreb guys into your contender. You'd win more money. Although you've won a tier 2, to be fair to you. But you'd win more money that way. Oh, that's just me though. Right, so Gab, I think you've got a good squad. I think you've got some lovely teams. I think you've got some lovely teams. I just think you need to potentially hone in on some of those squads where you've gone for the weaker teams and just maybe just adjust your expectations. Okay. We're going to do a couple more. And I really appreciate everyone coming to me on this. So I'm just going to have a look at some of these guys. I will do some more videos on this, so don't worry, I will do some more reviews, people. I'm just going to have a quick look at this. So interestingly, I know Pisto commented saying he's gone Premier League heavy. Really like I'm just going to comment on his rare stat for now, because that's a solid stat. We all know that is. Maybe I've replaced Kyle Walker and Bruno, but that's a solid stat. On his Premier League, I like this stack a lot. I think this is going to be a high point scoring most weeks, especially Morgan Rogers. I think he'll come good. Saka will come good. Now, Mamouche is the only one I'd look to change. Now, when I watched City on Saturday, I felt like Mamouche was not in the top of the subs. Like, I feel like he'll be good, but he's kind of like the Julian Alvarez role of he'll play the backup to Haaland now, because they bought in Ranchek, so they don't need anyone and they bought Reinders in, so they don't need anyone in that attacking midfield area at the moment. So I do think he'll play a bit more bit part. But I haven't said that Man City rotates so much that you'll still get a lot of game out of him. I just don't think you're going to get the scores that you're going to want out of him to reach where you want. You've done well because you've got promoted, but you didn't reach the streak, which is frustrating for you. And I think that's because if you change Mamouche for an Oscar Bob or a Shirky or one of the other midfielders, you'd have been well in there. So yeah, I do feel for you, because that's a good squad. But yeah, change that Mamouche and get someone else in. You'll be quids in. That'll be really good. That'll be a really good team. So like it. And then obviously I actually saw you had a champion team, which is, do you know what? This will come good. The only card I don't really like, I like him, but I think you're going to see a lot less points with Szoboszlai this year, just because Arne Slott's made it very clear that he's going to drop Szoboszlai back to the 8 whilst Florian Wirtz in the squad, because Florian Wirtz will play in the 10 where Szoboszlai played last year, and Szoboszlai, why am I saying Szoboszlai? I can never say his name. He'll play in the 8, so I really would focus on looking at maybe moving him into the 8 and then he's not going to be point scoring. So maybe switch him out. But Pedro will be good. Cody Gakpo will score you loads of points. Cole Palmer will score you points. Jed Spence loves getting forward, and I think he's going to be more solid than Thomas Frank. So yeah, good scorer. Pickford should be good scorer. Let's not talk about that. And Aitnori, yeah, great scorer. So good squad, Pistol. I like it. You've got a lot there. Just maybe look at that Mamouche change. Right, I'm going to move on to Jedi Knight. Now, Jedi Knight said that he knows who. I'll know who he supports by just looking at his front page. He's a Tottenham fan. Brilliant. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's game week 1 then. Oh, he's got a 1 of 1,000 Heung-min Son. Like that. Now, for those of you who don't know So Rare too well, in-season cards are the ones that you can earn towards money. Now, MLS started before the new cards came out, so So Rare 26 started. So their in-season cards are technically last season's cards in other leagues. So when you see this stack, that is technically a last season stack, but for MLS, because it was still in the same season as we were with So Rare 25 effectively, then you are looking at a in-season stack here. Now, because Son is an in-season card here from this season, there is potential that when the MLS comes around again next season, that will still be in season. So that is a really good card for you to have, because that will have 2 seasons worth of playing it. So Jedi Knight, that's a really good card, and I really like that side. I just think the rewards are a bit frustrating for MLS, because I think they've been dumbed down a bit. I mean, there's not much there anymore, but it's a shame. But hey, it's still a great stack, and you will score off that. And did you get promoted? Yeah, you did. So you'll be in Div 1 with that team, and I think that'll score you quite well. Maybe I would look to improve Ayala, and I don't think Real Salt Lake are that good this year, off the top of my head. But I reckon you can improve that player there. But I wouldn't now. I'd just leave that stack to run, because MLS is not nearly done, but it's towards the back end of the season. You're better focusing on the new in-season. And again, like I said on the previous team, I think it was Gavin's team, where you focused on one team that's not one of the top teams, and you've also gone for Hasbulla. He's popular. I've seen him around a few teams. Interesting, but didn't score that well. So, but yeah, again, if that team hits, you will score well in a week. So yeah, just stick with it. Oh, you love Heung-min Son, don't you? Another Heung-min Son card. Crikey. Another Heung-min Son card. Jedi Knight should be named to the Heung-min Son lover. And here we go, shot. Let me guess, this is 2. Am I going to see another Premier League stack of Tottenham? Yeah, of course I am. Brilliant, I love it. Interesting, I actually think you've done a good job, but you've done a good job with this stat, but my God, if you had Pape Sarr in there, what, an extra 35 points? What's that getting you? Oh, $200. You're the same as me. One player's really cost you. And that could have easily been a 75. Rodrigo Bentancur could have done so much more. But yeah, great stack. I like Kudos. Really, really good signing. He's going to score a lot of points this year. Pedro Porro will score some points. I think he does a lot of set pieces. Van der Ven's solid. I do like Tottenham under Thomas Frank this year. I think they're going to be really good, and I think it's a really good managerial signing. That's unlike a Christian Romero. He's normally a pretty good point scorer, so that's pretty unfortunate. I don't know about João Paulinho, just because he's new to Tottenham. He didn't play much of Bayern last year, so that's one to keep an eye on. But I do think he's a good player for Tottenham, and I think he'll be solid. Whether he's point scoring for the team, I'm not too sure about that, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Again, good stack. Don't think Bergvall will start that much because of the midfield options in front of him. And Matthias Tell is still having a shocker. I'm not personally sure why Tottenham spent that much money on him, but I hope for his sake he does come good. Good, yeah. So let's look at your Eredivisie. So you've got Sparta Rotterdam. Again, I like it. I love that little stack. Again, you've done really well there. 51st, you deserve that. It's a shame, really. Oh my God, you're 0.46 points away from getting cash and the Essen. That's so unlucky. That's horrendous. Like, oh man, if that's so that's the yellow card. How much is the yellow card? Is that -2.5? -3. So you got -3 for a yellow card, and that has cost you the top 50. That's mental. That's really unlucky, Jedi Knight, and that's a good stat though. That'll come good. Sparta Rotterdam be alright. They won't be the best team, but a good result against Utrecht. at home. So that's a good result. So hopefully you might see some results. You'll just struggle against a couple of teams such as Ajax, PSV, the top guns basically you will struggle against. But an AZ Alkmaar probably will give you a go run for your money, and Royal Antwerp maybe. But yeah, good stack. I've got Marvin Young in a craft I'm going to show you in a minute. So it's good to see he's got 65, so I can keep that in mind. But yeah, I like your teams. Good. We've got my Spark stack. We've got some out season. Like these, I love these looking cards. They're so nice. These PSG, Paris Rising, I think these were. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, you'll do all right. You've got I mean, a lot of teams you cover. However, I would just, yeah, I think you've got some really nice teams you covered. I just think you need to maybe view away from Tottenham. There are other Premier League teams just out there, putting it out there. I'm only joking. Thank you. There are loads of people that did these team reviews and put their names in. So what I'm going to do is I've actually got a list of people who have done it now. I haven't done it. I'm not going to do it in every video because I can't. I just want to focus on like some different things each week. But I will get through all the people that done it. So I've crossed off those now who I've done today, and I've got 3 more at least. I've got a couple more people that have commented on my Twitter post. So what I will do is I will get round to doing those teams at some point, okay, in the next week or two. So when I do another video, but because it is Friday and because it is 12:18, I do actually need to now start. I need to start looking at the lineups for next week. So I'm going to have a look at my lineups for next week. So here we are. So we've got my Liverpool stack I'm going to stick with. I'm going to hope they get a result at Newcastle. I think Newcastle was struggling because of the Isak issue at the moment. I think the Instagram post he put out earlier in the week is only going to make things even harder for them. And there's a lot of noise around Liverpool. It's going to be a bit of a derby, actually. It's like the Alexander Isak derby, really, at the moment. But I think that's a solid sign. I'm going to stick with, I've gone with Kirkez instead. I just think I like the fullbacks of Liverpool. I think both are going to have some success there. So I'm going to stick with Kirkez. And I don't think I paid 20 quid for Kirkez, and I don't think it's worth paying 120 for Van Dijk yet. I just think that's quite extortionate for a centre half who it will be a solid point scorer, but I think you can get the same out of Kirkez personally. But I may be wrong, and if you can afford it, I'd go for Van Dijk. But for me right now, I'm going to stick with Kirkez. Now I'm going to stick with Jordan Pickford because they're playing Brighton at home. So Everton at home, their first time in the new stadium. I think they're going to be really pumped up. I think they're going to get a good result there. And Pickford should hopefully have a few more saves. Brighton will have a lot more shots. I'm going to stick with the 2 big guns that played last week. They're good, and Haaland obviously. And then I've got Zubimendi in there, but I'm thinking about, do I edit this? And do I go back to Ryan Cherky? I think I put him in a lineup already, but I'm gonna use him in a lineup. Do I put Ryan Cherky in? Because I don't know if he's going to play 20% to start. So it's whether we start him or do we go and get someone else and just from our team. I'm tempted to look at Arsenal, another Arsenal player, because Arsenal have lots of they have Leeds this week, and I think that's going to be a good fixture. I could also start building a stack round Zubimendi, so we get 2 Arsenal players in. Or who else we've got? Chelsea, we've got West Ham. There's a few good fixtures this week. Actually, I might have a look at the fixtures. Should we have a little? So I'm going to bring up my phone quickly what the fixtures are. So we've got West Ham playing Chelsea tonight. Man City at home to Tottenham. Bournemouth Wolves. Brentford Villa. Burnley Sunderland. Oh, that's a relegation 6-pointer early doors. Arsenal Leeds. Sunday we've got Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, Everton Brighton, Fulham Man United, and then Newcastle Liverpool on Monday Night Football. So it's what do we do with that player? Now my heart's telling me to go and get an Arsenal player. So because I need to make that. I could win $50 from this thing. So we could be looking at a good in season. Now, something I'm going to tell you about the market. Now, I don't know if you know it, so experienced players will know this. If you're new to Sorare, just be aware of this. So, auctions and instant buy, because you get more, because when you win those ones, you get extra XP towards your collection bonus. So they do tend to go for slightly more money. So they are quite expensive to buy. So just something to keep in mind is sometimes they're different price. So we'll take Gorkrez for example. If I type in Gorkrez, so it just comes up, he's £80 on the market. If I go to instant buy, he's 96. You're looking at paying an extra 16 quid just to get him with extra XP. So something just to bear in mind. At auction, he's already at £85 at the moment. So if you could get that at £87, that's not a bad signing, for example. Okay, so it's just always worth checking. If you are tight on budget, like I am sometimes, is it worth that extra XP for the sake of getting them brand new but paying a lot more money for them? So just bear that in mind, because that could have an impact on your budget. Yes, you will miss out initially on the XP bonus, but they will make that up after 30 days. And some people will already leveled up. So if you can look, this one's already got 6%. So someone's already put a 2% XP bonus on this Gorkrez. So that's something to bear in mind, and something you should take forward going forward. So I'm actually going to use the Scout button for this. So if you ever use a Scout, I'm going to go on Premier League. I'm going to go Scout, and I'm going to look at starters. I'm going to look at forward and midfield, because I think I like a forward and midfielder. Now, if I'm going to look at Arsenal, firstly I'm going to look. I don't want to squad player on first team, so I'll just keep the first team. I want starters. Oh, okay, it does. I don't know why it does that. Price. I want to look at below £55, because you can see my budget there is £55. I'll go 54 because I don't really spend it anyway. I could go so I could go Bernardo Silva. That's not a shout. I don't think Anthony's going to play. Dan and Doy away at Palace though, not really for me. Tonali, no. Gundogan 40%, Jayden Anthony 90%, but he's playing Sunderland, so he could score well. Krupi didn't start, he was on the bench. Tillemans could be good. Josh Cullen. Pedro Neto could be a good one for me. I like Pedro Neto. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at Arsenal players for just a second, just because that's where I'm thinking about focusing right now. So we obviously know that my two main players are out of my stack. So let's have a look at. I'm going to go last 5 scores, because that's really truly. The season's just started, so you can go last 5. But what L5 and L15 means is L5 last 5 game scores average, and then last 15 game scores average. So when you're further in season, L15 is really good, but L5 is kind of what you want to see for the Arsenal stats now. Now, Zubimendi is actually up there in my price range, so it is tempting just to stick with Zubimendi, because I know he's going to play as well. But will he score points? What did he score last week? Should we have a look at what he scored last week? So he scored 46 at United. What actually did it happen? So general, he gave away 2 fouls. Okay, but he did get 6 for tackles. Possession loss, but it was a scrappy game at Old Trafford, so I'm really incisive. £26. I could even sell him. Maybe we don't look at Arsenal. So I'm gonna, again, that's not work for me. So I'm gonna just have a look at elsewhere. I'm actually just, let's go highest price and see what's highest. So Sesko, João Pedro is one that sticks out for me, because I do think he's going to be good at Chelsea. I think long term, João Pedro will have a lot of value. Abrichieze, now this week, no, but for Arsenal stacks going forward, yes please, he will be very good. Enzo Fernandez, yeah, another option. Antoine Semenyo at home to Wolves. I think £31 quite extortionate for Antoine Semenyo. I don't think I want to. That's another thing. I kind of like to find my value for money as well. Anthony Elanga, but they're playing Liverpool. I think I'm going to have to think about this one. I'll let you know in the next video what I went with and why I went with it, because I just don't really know what I want to do. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching. For those of you watching still here at this point, thank you so much. I'm just going to show you my hot streaks quickly, so you can see where I've got fight for. So I've got 380 to get in the Premier League for $50. I've got 400 in the Eredivisie to get $50, and I'm restarting my contender, and I've got my MLS to get my second. So they're my big 4 for me. I really appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy the video or any part of the video, please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me, especially as I'm starting. I'm trying to build my portfolio of YouTube videos. and I really appreciate anything you want. Also, drop in the comments below, give me a comment, anything you think you'd like to see in future Sorare videos, or anything you think I can help you with, if it's worth looking at budgets or different lineups for each week or different teams going forward. What would actually be something that you want to see? I'm open to doing different types of videos. Maybe we just analyse performances, why teams got certain points, why players got certain points, and yeah, we'll see how we go forward. Or we just look at contentious decisions and we understand what, and people might be like, why did Jordan Pickford score 44 this week? Well, if we look at the handball that cost them the goal, that's why he scored 44 points. And also I look at things like his goal kicks. He kept giving the ball away. Like Everton weren't winning the first headers, so it was technically possession loss. So yeah, it's little things like that that actually hampered his score. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will hope to see you all in the next video. Cheers. Goodbye.